Okay. The central bank chief, Governor Emefiele, on the latest move by the Nigerian authorities to rethink the entire milk import into the country. So let's put some of this into a bit of an insight and perspectives. Let's cross over to our studios, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where Ayode Jiebo, who is the chief executive officer at Afrinvest Securities, is joining us live for this two-part conversation, as it were. Thank you, Ayode. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Boston. Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. Thank you so much. So let's have this first part of the conversation. We'll talk about the NPC after the break, but let's spend the next few minutes to talk about what's your take on the new cabinet nominees, in particular the absence of key ministers who were in key economic subsectors that were absent on the list of nominees sent yesterday by Mr. President to the National Assembly.
Yes, thanks, Watson. I think the list further reinforced some of the fears of especially the foreign portfolio investors and direct investors. In terms of, if you look at the list, it looks more of the very known politicians. And there are some key sectors that we feel that there should be at least a mix of maybe technocrats. And if you look at it, during the last 4 years, we saw in terms of some major sectors that had like private sector experience hands there that would at least be like a check and balance, not just those that have the public sector experience. So we feel that except we see very deliberate policy, the foreign investors, both direct and the indirect, especially for the direct, that are a bit skeptical before in terms of investing in Nigeria. With this kind of list, I feel that for some of them may stay longer outside the country, especially in terms of investment in the country. If we don't see any deliberate policy by these new ministers or by the government that would embrace in terms of foreign direct investment that can develop our, in terms of our infrastructure, the power sector, the oil and gas sector, then we may feel that the 2% growth that is being projected may also be just an optimism.
So, the list that was sent yesterday did not contain the posts or the portfolio of these individuals. What we had was just a list of names, and they are going to be screened on the individual name basis. So, how does this look to you? Because if you send, and we're not sure, we don't know who is going to be, with the exception of those who are returning into office, like the finance minister, Zainab Ahmed. We don't know who's going to be the minister of budget and national planning. We don't know of industry, trade and industry in terms of who is going to be the head minister of state for petroleum resources, mining and steel, agriculture. Those things, those titles or portfolios were not mentioned. So how easy do you think the National Assembly or the Senate in particular will be able to screen these individuals and be sure that they are fit and proper for what portfolio they would be given?
Yes, that's another source for concern, because even at the last dispensation or the last tenure, I think it was a major discussion on the House, and we feel that in terms of attaching portfolios to the individual, because if you are going to be screened, so on what basis in terms of assessing your capability, will I be able to assess you? So if I'm trying to interview someone for the Ministry of Investment and Trade, there are some maybe specific questions that should be directed. It would have been good that even for the ministers, they are also well prepared in terms of the structure, in terms of the outlook, or even some of the strategies or ideas that they have in place. They would have been it will have been opportune to share that with the House and also with Nigerians, and we'll be able to have a sort of direction in terms of what they will be bringing to the table. But now everything is just blank, and we just wonder in terms of how the screening would go, what kind of questions would be asked in terms of what they will be bringing to the table when they assume office.
Very important. Again, if you look at the fact that this list has been delayed for so long, it was released on Tuesday. The screening will start today, according to the Senate. So it looks like, technically, looking like a rushed job already. The second half of the year has started.
Yes, that's true, but at least clears the waiting period in terms of having a list. But if we don't, there's really no major in terms of expectation. Maybe when we begin to see in terms of major policies, they may try to douse in terms of our concerns, especially the private sector. So we feel it, yes, it's a rush job, but it's also better that at least we have a list ready. Now we know in terms of the quality of people that have been assigned. We know in terms of have an idea in terms of expectation. So we also have an idea. And quickly, once they are also assigned portfolios, it also helps in terms of having an idea of also what to expect based on the different ministries. For some ministry that maybe you would have anticipated, maybe based on the performance of the previous ministers, continuation, if there will be continuity, that would have really also helped to consolidate on some of those achievements.
Yeah, I think so.
There are some major projects,
yes, Ayodeji,
as much as possible that we need. Hello?
Ayodeji, yes, we need to take a quick break at this point. Hold some of those thoughts and let's move them over into the second part of the conversation with you. Thank you so much. We'll take a break, everyone. We're back in 2 minutes. Okay, so let's get this conversation going with Ayodeji Ebo, the second part of that, the CEO at Afrinvest Securities. Thank you, Ayodeji, for sticking with us. And you're talking about the new ministerial position and all of that, what to expect, how soon they should hit the ground running. But let's move quickly to the market and talk about the central bank. You listened to the CBN chief yesterday, Godwin Emefiele, reading the communique of the 11 members, all rates unchanged. Some folks say it's not what the central bank does that matters, is what it says. So you listen to the governor providing some explanations as to where we go next from here. What's your take on what was said and what was not said?
Okay, thanks for that. In terms of the direction, it was in line with our expectations, but also trying to look at some of the major statements or clarifications that were made. One is in terms of the restriction of FX to the milk importers. So, because for most of what's going out there is that a ban on importation. So it's restriction. So it means that what CBN has effectively done is to move the demand for the FX from the official window to the black market. So the companies may choose, if they want to, may choose to source for their FX through other channels apart from the official window. So that doesn't mean that it's entirely a ban in terms of the importation of FX. Importation of milk rather. But if we also, for us, we are also of the opinion that in addition to, or even before enforcing that, we feel that we would have also seen like a program that would provide some form of direction within that particular sector. So for the milk industry, in terms of the different value chains, so what are those in terms of the incentives beyond the loan? The CBN governor emphasized in terms of loan for water, loan for cows, fattening, but there are other incentives that may be required in terms of the processes too, so that even those value chains will attract investment based on the different incentives that would have been put in place. What we heard yesterday was just the engagement with with the main importer, which is Friesland PLC, the producer of pig milk, was just based on the engagement with their management. But beyond that, there may be other investors that may be interested in investing within that particular sector. So that's our view on that. Also, there was some form of clarification around the restriction of banks from participating from investing in treasury bills. So I think last Thursday, what we saw was excluding them from the special HOMO. So CBN has emphasized yesterday, or the CBN governor emphasized yesterday, was that the special HOMO that held on Thursday was to provide a guidance in terms of their view in terms of guiding banks to lend rather than invest in treasury bills, as well as in terms of the rate, because when you look at the treasury bills rate in the secondary market, it's currently at levels about 10.5%, while the HOMO that held last week, I think for the long-term security, was around 12.35%. So CBN is effectively telling investors that we don't have the intention of bringing rates that low. So it may, based on what was emphasized yesterday, we may see more of those special kind of HOMO that will be assigned only to non-bank investors. But the challenge would be for us is how much of those HOMOs can you have when you look at dissect in terms of the participation of the different stakeholders within the treasury bills market. The banks constitute over 50% in terms of activity. Then you look at the foreign investors and all other, the PFAs and institutional investors. So for us, yes, it's good that the CBN is trying to re-emphasize that banks should be lending. When the CBN talked about the different loan-to-deposit ratio, and some of what we also had also expected that may also be emphasized is the risk environment is different. So if I'm trying to compare the loan-to-deposit ratio of Nigerian banks to those in the US or in South Africa, their risk environment varies. So they won't be able to take as much risk in Nigeria. For Nigerian banks, won't be able to take as much risk as banks in other clients that have security taken care of, that have the infrastructure in terms of also the support and incentives. So we feel that
I wish to come in here very quickly.
Is looking in the right direction and trying to refocus. Hello?
A quick one here on this de-risking. Whose job is it to de-risk when we say we want to de-risk an environment? What are the risks here? I think they're pretty simple and it's on the table. Everyone has a fair idea what the risks are. So whose job is it to do the de-risking of the environment? Whether we like it or not, we need to grow credit one way or the other.
Yes, I think it lies solely with the fiscal authority. It lies solely with the fiscal authority. So if you are trying to increase it, so it's like you are putting the horse before the cart. You are trying to increase, you want the banks to increase lending as much as possible, which in my view, I agree that, okay, lending should be increased. But to what extent have they increased the lending in an environment that still has significant inherent risk around insecurity, and you look at in terms of the bottleneck around infrastructure? So the CBN, we expect that now that we would have the ministers settle down, maybe in the coming weeks, they need to be aggressive in terms of sitting down and synergizing in terms of how can they de-risk the real sector, where these banks can increase the lending. Because once there's the opportunity, when they see that the risk environment is minimal, they would be happy to also lend as much as possible to those sectors.
Very interesting. And just kind of wrap it up with you. Thank you so much. We need to de-risk the environment. The central bank wants more credit to those who are in SMEs, those who are entrepreneurs, those who are in other areas, in creative arts and what have you. But how do we do this if we don't fix the environment by the fiscal authorities? Thank you so much, Ayode Jebo, the CEO at Afrinvest Securities.